My first time doing CPR on a patient. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. I know what you're thinking. No, we don't put our lips on people. We don't put our mouth on other people's mouths. That's nasty. All right? Now, in the midst of trying to save somebody's life, do they care if it's nasty? No. They only care if they wake up the next day or if they wake up from whatever event they're having, right? So we actually use what's called a BVM. All right? We use that to breathe for them. Okay? And then we pump on their chest. Now, this is before Lucas devices and all that stuff that they got now, which takes a big load off of us and EMTs and paramedics and stuff like that. So, let me tell you how this started. Station 13, we get a cardiac arrest call. So, oh man, this guy's had a heart attack probably 5 times already, and he's been saved every single time. All right, and I'm going to tell you, we saved him this time too. I have no idea how he had that many, and he's still living, man, by the grace of God. He's a loved one. But we end up finding this guy on the floor. We find him on the floor. He's out. No pulse, nothing. All right, we check his pulse, not breathing, no chest rise and fall. So we immediately begin CPR. I'm the new guy. I have to pump on his chest. So it's hard to explain because when you do CPR on somebody, if you're doing it correctly, it's not going to look good. It's not going to look pretty. It's not going to feel pretty. When you do CPR on somebody, you're going to hear his bones break. You're going to hear his rib cage break. If you're doing it correctly, his sternum's going to crack. Everything in his sternum is going to crack so you can get full extension and get that heart pumping. All right. One of the most shocking things I've ever experienced. It wasn't easy, but this made me realize that I was meant for this career. So I was meant for it because it didn't bother me. In the moment it did, but eventually I got used to it, sad to say. And becoming a fireman and an EMT, a lot of us are emotionally unavailable with stuff like that if you've done it for a long period of time. So, that being said, when you do CPR, you have to break bones in the sternum, possibly ribs and stuff like that too. So, I'm pumping on this guy's chest. We get him on the stretcher, get him to the ambulance, and it's a long ride to the hospital. When you're doing CPR on somebody, it's a long ride to the hospital with them taking turns, going 60, 70, possibly 80 miles an hour, depending on how far you have to go. If it's an event like this, we have to go to the closest hospital, but the closest hospital could still be 20 minutes out, 30 minutes out. And that whole ride without a Lucas system, you're pumping on this guy's chest. If you haven't done it, all right? If you haven't done it, try it at home. Try it at home with enough force. Every time, 30 to 2, 30 compressions to 2 breaths. 5 rounds. All right? And see how tired you are. And I wish you could do it inside a truck too, because it's not easy, I'm telling you. All right? Dog tired. Sometimes you got to switch hands. You got to hold on to the rail just to keep your balance. Sometimes you got to straddle the patient depending on what the situation is. But it's not easy, man. Dog ass tired. It feels like you just hit a whole arm workout. If anybody's watching this video that's a fireman or EMT, you know. It's not easy, but when I did CPR on this guy, I looked in his eyes. Big mistake. I don't ever try to look in patients' eyes no more, man. And you can see when you look in the patient's eyes as you're doing compressions on them, you can see that the life is no longer there. You can see that, I don't know how to explain it, but the soul just isn't there in that body anymore, in that human being. That human being is no longer there. Probably somewhere close. I'm trying to bring him back. I'm trying to bring him back to see his family, see his loved ones, whoever it is that he was living for, that he survived 5 more for. It ain't easy. And I'm doing CPR compressions on this guy while my paramedic and my other more senior EMTs are pushing drugs, intubating. You see all the stomach fluids and stuff coming up through the airway. It's enough to make you gag, man. I did have a hard time dealing with my first CPR, or my first time doing CPR on a patient. But eventually I was okay. I became used to it because it's part of my career. And if you're looking forward to being an EMT or a fireman or a paramedic or whatever, these are the things that you're going to have to deal with along the course of your career. All right. Like, subscribe if you want to hear more.